Okay, everybody that's going to testify this, raise your right hand for me. All right, y'all swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Nod your heads. All right, Mr. Mooney, I'm going to put you in the waiting room, okay? Thank you, sir. All right, Ms. Warren, go ahead and say why you want the TPO. I don't want to hear anything that anybody else said. Don't tell me what the police said. Tell me what's going on.
Hello, Your Honor. My name is Tierra Warren. I want to start by saying I was a victim of an aggravated assault case with Derek Rooks. I met Derek online, socially. Derek got my page from a dating site, and he proceeded to write me on my Instagram page due to no response. Once Derek wrote me online in March, in April, I responded. Then Derek and I began to conversate via Instagram. And then we decided to finally meet up. Derek was in a situation at the time, and I didn't know, too much about the situation. I just know we FaceTimed, and he was telling me that he got kicked out of his sister's house due to him not paying bills, to later find out Derek was homeless, awaiting for an apartment to become available at 1500 Avion Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia, which is approximately 8 miles away from my residence. Derek and I finally met up. We began to date, where we went out, and Derek come to my house. He would sleep over. Derek would be around my children, Summer and my son, which is ages 4 and 10. It was times where Derek didn't have funding for certain things such as gas, food, shelter, and I tell him just
hold on, Ms. Warren. So I want to hear about the violence, how you folks met. I'm not sure how that's relevant.
Okay, so
you just kind of get to the most recent event and work backwards.
Okay, so the most recent event, Derek had Zelled me. We came to agreements. My birthday was in April. Prior to that, Derek was helping me financially wise as much as he could. He Zelled me $1,000 for a trip that we had planned to Florida, in which it was my birthday weekend. I have that evidence that I would like to present as well. Derek Zelled me the money. He sent me confirmation of his flight because he booked his flight separately than I did. A few days before the flight took off to Florida, which was right before the incident, he told me that he didn't have the finances. And so he had to move, so he couldn't come. Your Honor, I proceeded to go to Florida because this situation, I had a dental appointment, which I got a dental procedure done and everything was paid prior. While I was in Florida, Derek called me several times. He was upset. He didn't come. He would say that we're done. He would scream, yell, and all type of things. So during the time of me in Florida, I barely spoke to Derek. Derek was watching my Instagram story in which I had some flowers on a yacht, and he watched it and he was like, "We done, you enjoy your time in Florida." So we text each other. Derek picked up me and my from the airport. We had a layover during the flight, and I sent him another confirmation letter at the airport in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And amongst that whole ordeal, Derek picked us up from the airport. When Derek picked me and my 2 children up to the airport, Derek, he didn't say anything in the car. He was very, quiet. Derek began to say, "Well, y'all enjoy your time." And he came to my front door, in which I have video of that. He came to the front door and said, well, he grabbed the kids. The kids got out the car. Derek placed the items in the house. I said, well, he said, "I got to go to work." I said, okay. That was that Friday. That Saturday, my coworker which is, she's also in the case as well. At that time, she was a coworker that was working with me at my job. Derek, we had a grill out at my house, and I cooked. Derek was supposed to come over with he was supposed to come over and grill and everything. He said that he had an emergency with his sister and went out of commission, so he couldn't come. Derek asked me, by this time, Your Honor, while Florida, Derek moved. I believe it was April the 15th. Derek Rooks moved into a place on Avion Avenue. Specifically, when Derek, he didn't come over on the next day. So at night, Derek said, well, can you bring me something to eat? I had grabbed the food, put it in a plastic bag. I stay in a townhome, Your Honor, where my car was in a driveway. The witness who witnessed the issue at his house, she was parked in front of my house. So she said, don't worry about driving.
She's not here. Can't hear what she said.
Okay, so we drove her car, Your Honor, because my car was intersected with his, my car was in, like, you know, my car was facing like straight ahead and her car was facing like in front of the thing. So we drove her car because it was easier access. Me and my coworker, we went to 1500 Avion Avenue because Derek had asked, can we bring him something to eat? Amongst arriving at the location, Your Honor, I just want to give you a visual. Derek stayed in the back of the home. So it was like an efficiency connected to the home. So it was like the home and you would have to drive down the hill. And then it was like a small attachment. And it's like like you had to go up like 2 stairs and the efficiency was connected to the home. My coworker and I walked down, we knocked on the door, Derek opened up the door, and I saw like Derek was in the dark. We was talking, Derek began to say that he didn't, you know, he was upset about the whole ordeal with me in Florida. Since then, Your Honor, while we was in the house, Derek was saying that he didn't have anything to live for. His mother passed away. He didn't have no other options. He was running low on funding. So I dropped off the food, and as I was getting up, he began to attack me. During the attack, Your Honor, I sustained injuries in which I would like to present to you. As we was in the house, Derek jumped on me, he beat me, and he drugged me. And physical evidence shows I have bruises to my arm. Derek jumped on me, and my coworker, she was saying, Derek, don't do it, leave it alone.
I don't want to hear what anybody else said.
Okay, so we'll just leave. So Derek, I was on the floor, Your Honor. I am in a wheelchair. I'm using a bedside commode. I have not walked since the incident. I have not walked. I have not stepped on my foot. I'm injured. I had 2 surgeries. I had surgeries on May the 2nd, going on May the 2nd or the 3rd. And then I had another surgery June the 10th, my orthopedic. So let me go back. So from the
I want to hear what anybody said that's not here.
No, I'm not stating that, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm sorry. So from then, Derek drugged me, and it's like an area where, like, you know, you go up like 2 or 3 stairs and then you're right under the door. So Derek drugged me and he locked his door. The police was called. The police never showed up. I'm not sure what happened, but I was begging for help. There was a lady that came out from like towards the house that was connected. So she was like, obviously, I think in the basement part of the house, and she heard us screaming, me screaming for help.
Tell me what she said.
I'm not.
Yeah.
And so I asked everyone, could someone call the police? Lachey, the person who was there, someone else came to assist us to get in the car, to get us out of this hole, because it was like no way when no one could find us, the back of the house. I left my phone inside the vehicle due to the fact that I was literally just supposed to bring him something to eat. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have no sort of communication. Your Honor, I could not walk. I could not stand. I was just on the floor. I tried my hardest. I work in healthcare, Your Honor. I take care of people. I'm licensed, and I could not get up. Well, Derek could have killed me. I could not stand. I could not get up. I could not do anything. So I was screaming help for my life. Lachey called someone to help me get in the car. That young lady came, and Lachey drove her car backing in way down the driveway. And they Your Honor, it was like two people putting me into a car. So I'm screaming, I'm down for help. Long story short, I make it to my house. As I'm pulling in my driveway, I use my cell phone. I then call 911, and I tell 911 that I've been assaulted. I cannot walk. My leg was literally hanging with my bones out my leg. Since then, the paramedics, when you call 911, the ambulance came, the firemen came, and the police come. They said it was a long wait, and it'll be about 30-40 minutes until someone could take me to the hospital from EMS. From EMS, I called my uncle, in which I had my two younger children actually at the house with my co-worker's friends. So I called my uncle to get my children, and I went to the emergency room from there. I have documentation to state that as well. I went to the emergency room. They did x-rays, in which I have that as well. This incident happened on April the 30th, leading up to May the 1st. That was the same within an hour or two later of them admitting me. I was screaming for help in the hospital due to my pain. They got to me, and they let me know that my tibia, my fibula, and my ankle was broken. Yeah, those are three major bones. I could not do anything. They put me in a cast, which was all the way from my foot to my thigh. And then they gave me a note. I would have to contact the orthopedics. I did call the nurses line, and I talked to orthopedics because I work in gastro.
So you can't tell me what anybody said. If you had to make a follow-up appointment, that's all I need to hear, okay?
Okay, Your Honor. So they gave me the x-rays, and the next day, the doctor told me that for me to come in, and she would admit me due to my injuries. Because, so she would admit me. So I spoke with the doctor. She saw all of the evidence. She advised me that
Can't hear what the doctor said.
So due to my injuries of my leg, a major surgery had to be done. Swelling, they had to drill holes through my feet, in which I would like to show you as well. I believe that they sent them to you. I can present them as well. And so they had a major surgery, which is the external fixator. And so they drilled holes through my feet and bars across my leg to keep my legs in place, my bones in place. And then I would have that could stay on for anywhere within June the 10th. So every week, Your Honor, I was going to the orthopedic, in which I have those documents as well. Every week I was going to the orthopedics to see how the swelling was, because the doctor couldn't do the two procedures due to the damage of my leg. June the 10th, finally I got cleared to go and get the external fixator removed from my leg. And the procedure was they remove all of everything, and then they put a plate, which is about 10 inches from my ankle to up near, I could show you, Your Honor, but I'm not able to walk. So from my ankle all the way up my thigh or my leg, they put about 23 screws, drilled holes through my legs just to keep me, okay. I have been in physical therapy. I'm learning how to walk again. I have been out of work.
Tell me something. Tell me something. So how did your leg get broken?
So while we was in the house, Derek was upset.
Now just tell me how the leg got broken. You don't have to add all the other stuff. Just tell me how to,
Derek up and throwing me and punching me and throwing me against the walls and anything he could do. So yeah, Derek physically assaulted me. He was picking me up and throwing stuff at me while we was in the home.
Okay. And I just explain to me how your leg was broken in 3 places.
Your Honor, when Derek picked me up, he threw me aggressively against a wall. And then he had like heavy things in the house because he just moved there. So there was something that Derek picked up in which I had was trying to crawl and Derek threw it at me. And that's how my leg became broken and he drugged me out the home.
So did your leg, hit any?
Your Honor.
Anything in particular? I'm trying to.
So I don't know how to put it in so many words, but the home, it was a compacted place where we was. So I didn't have a chance, it was a small efficiency, Your Honor, probably about 500 square feet between the room, everything was so compiled. And so when I say everything was so compiled, I mean, you can walk in the home and you can see the kitchen, you can see the area where we were. So Derek had a half of a sectional because he was moving his items from the storage place in the home. So when Derek began to argue, I was telling the co-worker, let's just go. So Your Honor, I couldn't cross Derek because we were sitting at a seat. So it was Derek and it was me. And then my coworker was sitting across, from us. So as I'm trying to leave, she was in front of me. And then that's when Derek started the abuse. So.
Okay, so I got a couple questions because, all right, I know that you went through Safe Families and that they helped you with your petition. I think if I remember correctly, in the bond hearing, I think I kept him away from his own place, but was led to believe that was your place.
So that's what I was talking to the.
Hold on. And in here it says, is check people who used to live in the same household.
So, Your Honor, I spoke to the victim advocate, Ms. Morgan, and that's what I was trying to explain. The 1500 Avion Avenue, I was trying to speak during once you did everything, but you said it was done. But 1500 Avion Avenue was his address. Derek was actually residing at my address at that time of before everything. But when we came back from Florida, Derek moved into a place, but he was still at my home because he didn't have any furniture, no bed, no nothing in the home. He didn't have no food, no nothing. So he was at my house. So I came to Derek to bring him food, as I stated before, Your Honor, because he didn't have any food.
Okay, hold on one second. Mr. Watson, submit that proposed order to change that, stay away from the Avon place to me too, would you?
I will, Judge.
And you can include the prosecutor and put that after the hearing today. Clarification on that. All right. Anything else, Ms. Warren? So Ms. Warren, right now, so Mr. Rooks, he made his bond. I said it kind of high, didn't I, Mr. Watson? Like $150,000, something.
Yes, sir.
Rather high. He has an ankle monitor. Let's see. Anybody who ever sees me at night, probably ankle monitor, 24-hour curfew. You can only leave for court, medical. See your lawyer. You can leave for work as long as you display who you're working for, or schedule, and exactly where you'll be working.
Correct.
If you live in Fulton County, nope, then stay out of Fulton County. You'll come back to Fulton County for court and to see your lawyer. Most people that are there at night can probably just repeat everything I say. So he's got that ankle monitor. It's paid for by the county. And I think he's staying somewhere else since it said that Avon, he couldn't be on there. Let me ask Mr. Watson a couple questions. So is that apartment still there that he wants to go to, Mr. Watson?
I don't believe so, Judge.
Okay.
I know we're going to talk with the state about modifying some of the conditions of the bond, particularly as it relates to Fulton County, because there is the possibility that he might be able to resume his employment, and that facility is in Fulton County.
So if you can't, Miss, hold on, Miss Warren. You can include me on that email, but definitely it said stay away, Miss Warren. It said stay away from that Avon address. And if that's his place and he has stuff there, I'm not keeping him away from his place. So if you want, y'all chat, and if you and the prosecutor, if you know who it is, can, you know, once you get something, include, and you can include that I said definitely remove the Avon Avenue from there, and then if he has stuff there, he can return there and get his belongings since it's not her place.
Right.
I just wanted to get that right so that I don't want to keep somebody away from their own home if it's not that. All right, Ms. Ward. Anything else? Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. So I do want to just point out a few things. I don't know if you're able to see the pictures due to the injuries that Derek has caused. And I'm asking that Derek do not return to Fulton County simply because.
Hold on. Now, this isn't his bond hearing. It's in his bond. It's just TPO. It's in his bond hearing. So, you know, I'm talking about I know that in his bond hearing, I made him stay away from that address because it was presented as though that was where you live. And I'm correcting that, just like I do a lot of other people when there's different charges and I see that something's happened, it's been settled. I'm like, I don't want to jam people up, you know, unnecessarily when they don't need to be jammed up. So if that's not your place, then he can go back there because that's where he lives. And if that's his house, I can't remove him from his house. He's still got that ankle monitor on there with a 24-hour curfew, except for court, lawyer, and seek medical attention. So what Mr. Watson does with the DA is what they do, and that gets handled at another place. Now, so no, I don't see any pictures. I don't see you shared your screen with any pictures. So I haven't seen any injuries because I haven't seen pictures that you shared.
Okay. Do you mind if I share my video?
Yeah, go ahead. Absolutely.
Okay, 1 second.
When is this video? And tell me what it is you're going to be showing because Mr. Watson needs to know.
So I am going to present the day, the night, soon as I left and got to the emergency room, all the way down to my surgeries. I would also like to present before the judge my injuries in which I sustained with Derek, also the Zales. And
so tell me who took these. Do it one at a time. If you're going to show me a picture, just say like this picture. I took this picture on this date, so that we'll know what it is, so that Mr. Watson will know. So share one thing and tell me what it is.
Okay, Your Honor. 1 second.
And Judge, I'm going to object to all of these items that Ms. Warren is purporting to show. This isn't a trial. And, you know, claims of injuries and claims of surgeries without showing how Mr. Rooks is connected to those injuries and surgeries, I think right now is irrelevant in this particular proceeding. This is information she can give the DA's office and they can choose to do with it what they will. You know, I think as far as the Zelle information is concerned, I don't have any objection to it other than her saying that she got money from Mr. Rooks.
So are you stipulating that he sent money?
I mean, she can show the Zelle and it can say what it says. I'm not stipulating to the fact that Mr. Rooks actually presented.
No, I'm talking about sent the money.
About sending the money?
Right.
No, I'm not stipulating to that part either, Judge. I'm just curious as to what the Zelle itself says.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about the Zelle. Who, you know, how do you know it was from him, when it was, and what it was sent for? You can share your screen on the Zelle.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. 1 second, Your Honor. Your Honor, do you see my screen?
I just see you.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out how do I share my screen. I see where it says share content. Give me 1 second, Your Honor.
And Your Honor, while we're waiting on her, you know, I don't want to, you know, get in the middle of her direct, but
There she goes.
okay.
There she is. Let's see what she goes like.
Oh, I didn't even see her click out.
Yeah, and she got kicked off. So, all right, go ahead, Mr. Show.
Well, Judge, we've got a motion to dismiss that we filed on Tuesday. Part of the argument in the motion is that the criminal allegations aside, Ms. Warren, both in her petition and repeatedly through her testimony today, has pretty much established the argument that we were making from the beginning. These two have never lived together. There's no evidence that she's presented that shows that Mr. Brooks lived with her. Even assuming that she could show, hey, he gave her money for rent, for her own rent, or gave her money to go to Miami, or gave her money to do this or do that. That doesn't mean that they live together. And under 1913(1), what you have to have is they have to be parents of children. They are not parents of children together. We have to have two people who lived or formerly lived in the same household. Her testimony today has repeatedly been like, the Elmwood address was her home. The Avion address was his home. It's only at the end that she says something to the effect of, oh, well, he didn't have any furniture, and so he was staying at my house. Even if he stayed at her house once, twice, there is no evidence that she's presented that these two ever lived together. And if they didn't live together, then this whole petition should be void and it should be dismissed. The criminal allegations can be taken care of in another courtroom, in an entirely another form. But you have to have evidence that these two lived together or formerly lived together in order for this petition to go forward. She checked off on the petition that they lived together, but she hasn't established anything that shows that. And again, her own testimony has repeatedly sort of buttressed our argument that they never lived together. They certainly weren't living together in April of this year. So again, I would just ask the court, unless she can present evidence that these two in fact lived together, I would ask the court to dismiss this petition.
Ms. Warren, what kind of evidence do you have that the two of you actually lived together?
She's on mute.
You're on mute, ma'am.
Can you hear me, Your Honor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my testimony would be Derek. Okay, so I moved here prior to me meeting Derek, but since we was together and Derek would come to my home, and he did live here until his place became available on Avion Avenue, Your Honor. He signed a lease actually while he was in the house because he needed more money, so he was working overtime, and that's the truth. I moved here in January. I met Derek and we started talking the first, from March to April. And then Derek would go to work, live here, take a shower, eat. He was coming here every day. He didn't have a residence. And then when he moved to his residence, April the 15th, Honor, that's when Derek had signed his lease.
So how long did he stay or reside with you?
Your Honor, for about 3 weeks until his became available.
Did he have a key?
Yes, he did.
Did he have stuff that was there?
Yes, he did, Your Honor. He was actually living out his car, and he would bring all his items into my home, in which he washed his clothes and ate, slept, showered, and everything here every day, every night. I even got stuff, I can send you over the thread. He was like, I'm on the way home. And then he moved. And so when he moved to Avion Avenue, that is the time where I was there to bring him food after he moved. So Derek did stay here until his place was available.
Your Honor, she's had over a month to prepare and gather evidence to support that, which I'm sure she would realize or should have realized that she would have needed to establish the fact that he lived or was living with her. Yet she has none of that here. I have a witness who is prepared to testify quite the opposite as far as Derek's living conditions were concerned. So again, unless she's got something beyond her own testimony that Mr. Brooks in fact lived with her, it's convenient for her to say, yeah, he had a key. Yeah, he spent the night. As we say, show us the Carfax. Give us something. I think the court would be interested in having something objective that can say, oh, okay, not even beyond a reasonable doubt, but there's a preponderance of the evidence that Mr. Brooks in fact stayed there. The only thing she's got is her own testimony.
Do you have any text message or anything, Miss Warren, where he maybe said something that, you know?
I got text messages, Your Honor.
All right, you want to share your screen and show me?
I'm trying to share my screen, and anytime I do share screen, it says start. Okay, 1 second, Your Honor. Can you see my screen?
Yep, it says start sharing screen, so I just need to see the text, and there's me.
Okay, 1 second. 1 second, Your Honor. I just wanted to go to April the 15th. This is the message thread between Derek and I.
Whoa. You're going fast. I mean,
Oh, I'm trying to find it, Your Honor. I'm just trying to get to where he stated that he was moving to sign his lease on April the 15th. 1 second. So this is, okay, I'll tell you that, but this is the trip to Florida. Here's the Avion. Okay, so April the 15th, Your Honor. This is around the time where we was communicating. I was saying, where are you? He was stating driving to his spot. That's when I did not know the address. And then he texts 1500 Avion Avenue. And I asked him the apartment number and city, because I didn't know, because that was the time where he was moving into his place.
so where is something where he calls your place home? That's what I'm looking for. Where's?
Okay, 1 second, Your Honor. Just give me a second. Okay, he sent the text message. 1 second, Your Honor. I'm just trying to find it.
Okay.
Oh, so these are just the places where we was looking for, before the whole ordeal. 1 second.
I saw one place where you called it home, but where did he?
Well, he was here, Your Honor. So,
So you said he called it home. Where is it that he called it home?
I'm trying to find the message thread.
Ooh, I will see some pictures you don't want everybody to see. Okay.
It's not, it's not, Your Honor. It's not no pictures. Don't forget to take out the clothes. This is one of the message here on April the 11th. Reminder, don't forget to take the clothes out of the washer and dryer. And that's when I was washing his clothes. That's something that states that he was here.
That states that he was there, Judge. That doesn't state that he lived there.
Your Honor,
if I'm at an Airbnb and I take
okay, go on up, because it's got look, Mr. Rook's gonna need to change his Netflix password because it's streaming, and there it is all over the YouTube. Mr. Rooks, change your Netflix password.
So this is where it says our Netflix account, because during the time, Your Honor, April the 10th, Derek was living here, and he said, let's just, create it. So he purchased a Netflix account so we can watch TV. This is stating that he was actually here. Derek stayed here. Your Honor, Derek will be able to testify. He was here every day. He didn't have a residence to live at, so he was here. So, our relationship very brief. During this time, I get assaulted. That's my only offer for today. Is stating I would cook dinner for Derek. He was here every day. And so he would go, while I was working, we would be together, and we went out several times together, but he was actually living at my home. He would take videos. Here's April the 9th. He was living here. Everything was
Judge, I'm sorry. But
okay, Joe, here you go. So okay, you can take that down, because I'm thinking, and I'll use my discretion, that one, they would have found under two. There's a new, and Mr. Weiss, I don't know, is a dating violence just went into effect last year. The legislature passed it last thing. So There were a couple, I mean, it can easily be, amended. It's basically kind of a, I don't even know what it's called, a scrivener's error, but, it probably fell under dating if they didn't live there. And I think we're good enough. We're good enough on that. I'm just still, and I'm not questioning anything, did you fall to break your leg in 3 places on something?
Your Honor, I was walking out of Derek's residence at Avion Avenue. As I was walking, my face and my body was turned towards the door. Derek from the back. He picked me up, he threw me. So to be honest with you, Your Honor, before, I lost my mental state, I just was thinking what was going on. So I was able to, I knew for a fact he drugged me because I was sitting on the floor in the house and he came behind me, grabbed me by my shoulders and drugged me out of the home and locked the door.
Okay.
And I have proof. I would like to present evidence, Your Honor, to show you that that is true. May 1st, which, April 30th, that was the night. May 1st, like early broad day in the morning, I have evidence to show, and I would like to present it to you to show you that, one, the bruises, evidence that Derek did, and I was in the hospital. I think the argument was, how do we know that Derek did this, Your Honor? My call records, the call tracing and everything, it shows. So I'm just trying to be protected.
Okay, so hold on. Do you have video or something of all of this happening?
No, Your Honor, I didn't have my phone. My phone was left in the vehicle, and that's how.
All right. Anything else you want to tell me?
Your Honor, I have suffered mental, emotional, and physical abuse from Derek Rooks. Your Honor, I would like for you to please honor this temporary protective order due to the safeness of my home. I am a victim of a crime. Your Honor, I got approved from Georgia Victim Compensation Program because I was rightfully employed at the time of the incident, and they have approved in which I could provide those documents to you as well. Because I'm not able to work, I'm not able to walk, and with me relocating due to the TPO that was just signed, I'm able to break my lease due to the incident. And I'm not able to work, I'm not able to walk. So it's a program that will be able to assist me with relocating. I would like for you to please just change the order from Avion Avenue to my address and to my current address where I would be relocating from and to. Your Honor, I have substantial evidence. I would never, I could not believe that I was a victim of such a thing. And I'm just asking you to please protect me and my younger children from all of the stuff that Derek done. Over, Your Honor, $400,000 in medical bills. I have that evidence as well. I can present that to you, but I mean, every week I'm going to the doctor, getting help. I'd have a physical therapist. Since I'm not able to walk, a therapist come to my home. Your Honor, I have camera surveillance since then, and I'm actually trying to relocate due to the fact that Derek did make bond. And as we was in court, the state did ask for him to, not be, but I just wanted you to know that, please. Just help me.
Hey, go ahead. Mr. Watson, do you have any questions?
Just a couple. Ms. Warren, when this incident supposedly took place on Avion Avenue, you say that it was yourself, Mr. Rooks, and one of your friends in the home when the attack took place?
I stated it was, during the attack, it was Derek Rooks, myself, and Lachey Payton, in which a co-worker at the time that I was employed with.
Okay, so your testimony today is that Ms. Payton was in the home at the time of the alleged attack?
She was.
Okay. In your petition, you wrote that you asked Ms. Payton to leave the home and that it was just you and Mr. Rooks in the home when the attack allegedly took place. Which one is it?
So Lachey was in the home and she was actually telling Derek to stop and let me go and we'll leave.
So was she inside the home? Was she inside the home or outside the home when the attack allegedly took place?
So during the time of my assault, the
Was
door,
she inside the home or outside the home?
she was,
at the
she
time
was
the attack took
in
place?
both of the doors. So I can't give, she was right there when it happened. So she was visually saw everything that had happened. Yes.
Okay. Why isn't she here today to testify on your behalf?
Because why isn't she here? Because it's a ongoing thing with Lachey and Derek Rooks.
You say there's an ongoing thing with Mr. Rooks and Ms. Payton?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
I don't want to speak on it. It's an ongoing investigation.
Okay. And what do you mean by that?
I don't want to speak on it, Mr. Watson. This Lachey is not here, but I'm the victim. So I'm speaking on my own behalf.
But you are intimating that there is an incident. Are you saying that there is a criminal incident between Mr. Rooks and Ms. Payton?
I'm not, I know I don't have any criminal incidents with Lachey at all. No, I'm stating that there's an ongoing investigation with Derek Rooks and Lachey Payton. That's what I'm stating.
I don't understand what that means. And I'm sure the court is interested in you giving more clarity to that situation. So I'm going to ask you to answer the question, please.
I don't think that that's relevant to the case.
I mean, what is it? Is there some sort of complaint? What's happening? Because I mean, I want to know when you say there's an incident. I do want to know what does that mean? I mean, are they dating?
So, Your Honor, from what we presume everything to be is Lachey and Derek they had something going on in which that's under the investigation right now.
Who's investigating this?
Atlanta Police Department.
And investigate who do you know in the Atlanta Police Department that's investigating this? And
Okay,
where
so
have you gotten this information that there's
yeah, and I don't want to speak regarding that.
Judge, I have to ask you to tell her to respond because it's curious to me that you've got allegedly a firsthand witness to this supposed attack, yet she doesn't have that witness here.
So, Your Honor, if we could subpoena, but at the end of the
Okay, so what's being? I mean, you throw out something's being investigated, and I mean,
so Your Honor, this is what's going on. I spoke with a few detectives of the Major Crimes Unit, and Lachey submitted her records to the officers. Lachey, from what we understand, Lachey had a pending case going on, and she was stating that her and Derek had communicated prior to me coming there. So she didn't call the police, and so that's why she took me from the home because if you go on Derek's page, Your Honor, she's following him. They've been communicating since then. So she talks to Derek or is associated with Derek. So I cut off all communication with Lachey and I'm specifically speaking, and I didn't speak to Lachey since I came home from the hospital on my first surgery. So I've got calls from her and text messages, but I have not spoken to Lachey. Like how I said, Your Honor, she was a co-worker. And Derek knew like that my co-worker was coming over. So we all supposed to have been together. But what I'm trying to specifically state is Lachey Payton was a co-worker and we worked together. She was here and we went to the residence. So, I mean, what I'm clearly trying to state is Lachey is in, I could present to you as well, Your Honor, the police report. She was there. She also spoke to the detectives and gave a statement stating that she was there during the crime. And then when they asked her certain questions, she didn't know that my bones was broke as bad because, you can't see an x-ray, from a visual standpoint.
I'm gonna
okay, all right, yeah, okay. So let's move away from Lachey because I'm lost.
Right.
I don't even know what. Yeah, go ahead. All right, go ahead and ask her the next question.
Judge, I mean, that's really the only question I have from Ms. Warren concerning Lachey Payton. I think we've already talked about the whole issue of residence or whether Mr. Brooks lived with or used to live with Ms. Warren. Sure, that's all I've got. I just want to make sure I understand this. Your testimony, though, today under oath, that Mr. Rooks lived with you at the 4591 Elmbrook Drive address?
That is my testimony. Yes, sir, Mr. Watson, it is.
Okay. All right. That's all the questions I have, Judge.
All right. Anything else, Ms. Warren?
Am I able to ask Mr. Rooks a few questions, Your Honor?
He's not testifying, Judge, so I've got a witness, but it's not him.
So it looks like he's asserting his Fifth Amendment right not to testify. So his lawyer's not going to allow him to testify. So yeah, I mean, you can ask him questions, but he's gonna, not say anything.
Judge, I'm not putting him up on direct. So
Well, I understand that, but in a civil case, she can call him on cross. I mean, that's kind of.
Thanks for giving her legal advice, Judge. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm giving it to you. On civil cases, you can call the other party on cross.
No, I know that, Judge, but I don't.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, ma'am, you can do it, but every time you ask him a question, his attorney's going to say that he's asserting his Fifth Amendment right not to. So we can go through that, and he really is not going to answer any questions. So there you go. Do you have anything else, ma'am?
I mean, Your Honor, that's my story and that's the truth. And I just wanted you just to understand that I'm still not able to walk, and I just want for Derek to stay away from my home address, my 2 children. And Your Honor, this is the only thing I had to say regarding the address that he has, his work address.
That's between him and the ADA and all that. I am not touching it. I've already done the criminal case, so I'm not doing anything with that right now. This is this case only.
Yes, no, Your Honor. I was just saying regarding, you said that he can. Okay, that's fine, no problem.
Yeah, I said we haven't amended. I said this is usually what I say. That is a completely separate thing, so they can deal with that on a different thing. All right, Mr. Watson, do you want to call your witness?
Yes, Judge, if Mr. Mooney is still there.
Mr. Mooney, right?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, I got a couple more people that are sitting in here.
Mr. Mooney. Oh, Judge, may I proceed?
Yes, there you go. Go ahead, Mr. Mooney. You can take yourself off mute.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mooney, I appreciate your patience. I promise I've only got a few questions for you.
Sure.
First, can you please give the court your full and complete name?
Yes, Mark Vincent Mooney.
And where do you reside? What's your home address?
My home address is 1479 Ashley Way in at East Point.
Okay. How long have you lived there?
Ooh, about 10 years.
All right. And were you living at that address in March and April of 2022?
Yes.
And who was living at that address with you in March and April of 2022?
Derek came and stayed with me while he was in transition to move into his other place. So Derek, Brooks, and myself.
And when you say he was in transition, he was moving from one residence to potentially another residence, correct?
Right, until it was ready. Yes, sir.
Now, the residence that he was staying at prior to coming to stay with you, do you know where that residence is located or whose residence it was?
It was his. It was in Jonesboro.
All right. And so when he stayed with you, when did he move into the next, or how long did he stay with you before he moved into the next residence?
Probably close to a month, if not a little over a month. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he moved out of your place sometime in April?
Yes. Uh-huh. I think
he
about
moved
the
out of
second
your place. Do you know? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You were saying something.
I believe about the second week of April.
All right. And when he moved out of your place, where did he move to?
He moved into his new apartment off of Avon in Atlanta. I don't know the exact address, but it's Avon Street right there in Atlanta, Southwest Atlanta.
All right. Now, when you say that he lived with you, was he at your house every day?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, in the instances where he may not have been at your house, was he ever gone more than a week?
No.
Okay. More than 3 days?
Probably about, probably like a weekend, 2 or 3 days or so. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, does the name Tarika, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your first name, but Ms. Warren, did Mr. Rooks ever bring Ms. Warren's name up?
You know, he just spoke about a young lady, but he never actually said her name or anything like that. Yeah, to me.
What was your understanding of his living arrangement with her?
It wasn't.
And when you say it wasn't,
It wasn't. It wasn't. He lived in Jonesboro, and then he moved out there, and he came here, and then he moved into this place in Avon, off of Avon Street.
so he never made mention of living with, shacking up,
No,
sharing a house
no,
with any young lady in particular?
no.
So as you sit here today, it's your testimony that between March and April, Mr. Rooks was residing at your home.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's all I have, Your Honor.
All right. Do you have questions for him, Ms. Warren?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Mhm.
Mr. Muni, you stated, hi, this is Terica. So you stated that Derek was a friend of yours, correct?
Still is.
Okay. How long have you been friends with Derek?
We can say probably about 2010.
Okay. You also stated that Derek was at your residence for approximately 1 month. Is that correct?
A little over a little month here, there. Yes.
Okay. Was Derek responsible for paying you any rent or any obligations that you can prove to the court that he receipts?
No, because he was in transition and he's a friend, and I was allowing him to stay here until he moved into his place.
Okay. And you also mentioned that Derek had no mention of me and you don't know who I am and I don't know who you are, correct?
Correct.
And you also mentioned that Derek would be gone 2 or 3 days roughly at a time, correct?
Well, some on occasions while he was here. Yes.
Okay. That's it, Your Honor.
All right. Any follow-up, Mr. Watson?
No, Your Honor, I'm good.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mooney. Thank you for being so patient.
No problem.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Watson?
No, Judge, I'll rest on the evidence or lack
All right.
of.
All right. Ms. Warren, go ahead. Closing.
Your Honor, Mr. Muni mentioned that Derek resided here for 1 month. Derek was at my house during the entire month of April, Your Honor, in which I believe I can show you the proof of the payment and also him being here with the event of change of us together every day, including video, text. Muni, before Derek and I became, now that you're speaking of the residence where he was telling me that he was staying out of his car, and from time to time, this was prior from our relationship, that he sleep at a friend's house. So now everything is making sense to me. Derek would also FaceTime me in like a sofa, and
I think we're good on that. This is just closing where you tell me like what you think you've proven.
Yeah, and I think that I've proven that I was a victim of a crime due to my physical injuries and my 2 surgeries that I've sustained regarding the police reports, and also the surgeries that I've obtained. Derek did abuse, and I am in fear for my life, so I am asking for you to please honor the 12-month protective order. If he could do this in a month, Your Honor, he can do it at any time, and just for the safety of me and my children.
Mr. Watson.
Judge, I think Ms. Warren has entirely failed to meet her burden in this hearing. She's offered no evidence that I think the court can reasonably surmise that Mr. Rooks ever lived with her. Whether he was at the house, whether they were doing videos, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever, that doesn't prove that he lived with her. She's offered nothing to the court by way of that. I won't comment on the injuries and criminal allegations. Again, I'll simply say that under 1913-1, she hasn't, and that's the petition she submitted, she hasn't met the burden of showing that her and Mr. Rooks ever lived together. And there would be no other category under which this would qualify. So I would ask that the court dismiss this this petition. You know, as far as the only comment I'll make with respect to the criminal case is the bond conditions imposed by Your Honor, I think are more than sufficient to ensure space and some sense of security, if that's what she's looking for Ms. Warren. You know, this hearing is about this particular petition, and she had a burden to prove, and I don't think that she met that burden by any means. So again, I'd ask the court to dismiss the petition.
All right. Mr. Watson, I remind you, please reach out. And since Avon was actually where he lived, please reach out to the DA, let them know that I've heard that, and you guys come up with something, because now that it's clear that she doesn't live there and it's his place, I'm not going to keep him away from his house and she doesn't live there. I'm going to put this in place for 12 months. If you both put your emails in the chat, we'll send you a copy of the order.
Well,
Obviously, if something had, what's that?
I'm curious. I really am. I mean, is Your Honor saying that she met the burden of showing that these two live together or used to live together?
Well, here's the thing, and I think I have the discretion of saying that I mean, she went by the advocate that she worked with, and it could have either been the dating TPO, sorry, I know I keep going blurry, the dating TPO or the family violence TPO. They've dated. When she went through the text message, you could say that she sent him pictures and in leopard, and he's changed the laundry, put the laundry. She's staying over there. And I almost find it hard to believe, Mr. Mooney, you can leave, that he stayed with Mr. Mooney and only left a couple times to stay with her, especially if they were going back and forth and sending money and what have you. That was a whole bunch of texting. So I think that
I guess I'm sorry, Judge, and not to belabor the point, but texting somebody a whole bunch of times doesn't mean that y'all date. And she still hasn't presented any evidence that shows they were actually living together. I don't even know that one could say that she presented evidence that they were dating. You know, I mean, I'll accept that ruling. I just want to make sure I'm heard on this idea that her assertions are tenuous, and she keeps talking about evidence, but has apparently no technical ability to put the evidence up for everybody to see.
Well, I think in there was like love, and I saw something with husband, those text messages. And the thing is, in a dating TPO, I knew I had an order in here. They were in a committed relationship. Plus, and every right, he has that right, not to testify. I can take a negative inference from him not testifying. And it's just a preponderance, more likely than not. He hasn't testified, so I can take a negative inference for the fact that he didn't testify that they were in some kind of relationship.
Well, I mean, I just think, I think, with respect to these text messages, I guess we're not employing all the rules of evidence here. I guess I would just argue the rule of completeness if I really wanted to go through these texts, but we'd be here 5 more hours, honestly, because I've seen the whole panoply of text between these two.
Right. Well, like I said, in there she says, "Come home." I saw that part, and I mean, he didn't have any They met on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. She's bringing him food. They were dating, and the fact that they met, whatever, so which would have fell under the dating thing. So the fact that an advocate helped her, save families or whatever, it.
Well, I just wish that if they were going to do a dating TPO, they had done a dating TPO, but in this TPO, she sits up here under oath and says that they live together at that address, but provides no evidence to that effect. And then she provides statements in this TPO that are directly contradictory. The statements she made, not only at the bond hearing, but statements that were made to the police in the police report. Granted, it's not evidence, but we've got statements all over the place with this. And that's my concern.
All right. So, and then she said that she contacted the victim's advocate afterwards, whatever, said she tried to correct it. My thing is, even if it wasn't family violence that they lived together, they dated and were in a relationship. Even though she said that he's like, we're breaking up. What are you doing? Wherever you're at, who are you talking to? And, you know, they had a Netflix password, whatever.
That's
Ma'am, Miss Potter, are you in my court? Hold on. Are you in my courtroom eating? Like, I keep popping a mint because my throat's hurting, but this isn't lunchtime. Turn your camera off if you're going to eat. I don't want to see you eating.
All right, I apologize.
Okay, that's okay. Turn your camera off. I don't want to see you eating. All right. So I'm going to put this in place. And Mr. Watts, I'll tell you this, whatever happens in that criminal case, you can always file to do something in here, you know, modified or what have you. But we're going to put it in place. I'm not going to. Right now, and Miss Warren, let me finish. I'm not going to make him do FFIP, and the reason I'm not is because I've got him on that ankle monitor where he can only live for certain reasons. He's not going to be able to do FFIP right now. I mean, it's impossible because I'm not allowing him to leave in the criminal case. So if y'all put your emails in the chat, we can. And there's more to this. I don't know what it is, but there is more to this. But I just have to go on what I heard. Like I said, your client exercised his right to remain silent. So taking the negative inference from him standing by his right to remain silent, I will put, and Mr. Watson, I would be glad to put if you would like, in the order that the respondent did not testify.
That's fine, Judge.
All right, we'll put that in there. Ms. Free, if you could just put in there that the respondent remained silent and didn't testify, that way it's there. So everybody put your emails in the chat. Leave the meeting. Stay healthy and safe. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Judge. You too.
Thank you both. All right, let's